Steve Jobs, the visionary who changed the world with the iPhone. Steve Jobs' life is one of the most inspiring success stories in the history of technology. From being adopted as a baby to becoming one of the greatest innovators the world has ever known. His journey proves that passion, creativity, and persistence can change the world. Steve Jobs was born on February 24, 1955, in San Francisco, California, USA. His biological parents were young college students who decided to place him for adoption. He was adopted by Paul Jobs, a machinist, and Clara Jobs, an accountant. They loved Steve deeply and encouraged his curiosity from a young age. As a child growing up in Mountain View, California, Steve loved taking apart radios, televisions, and electronic devices. His father taught him how to use tools, repair machines, and appreciate quality craftsmanship. These early experiences helped shape Steve's obsession with creating products that were both powerful and beautifully designed. Steve attended Homestead High School, where he became fascinated with electronics and computers. During this time, he met a brilliant young engineer named Steve Wozniak. The two quickly became close friends because they shared a passion for technology and inventing new things. In 1972, Steve enrolled at Reed College in Oregon. However, after only 6 months, he dropped out because he did not want his parents to spend their life savings on tuition. Even though he officially left college, he continued attending classes that interested him, including calligraphy. Years later, the beautiful typography in the Macintosh computer was inspired by those calligraphy lessons. After leaving college, Steve worked at the video game company Atari, where he learned valuable lessons about product design and engineering. Soon afterward, he and Steve Wozniak began working on a personal computer that ordinary people could use at home. In 1976, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne founded Apple Computer in the garage of Steve Jobs' parents' home. Their first product, the Apple I, attracted attention from computer enthusiasts. Soon after, they introduced the Apple II, which became one of the first highly successful personal computers in history. Apple grew rapidly, becoming one of the fastest-growing technology companies in America. Steve was known for demanding perfection, pushing his teams to build products that were elegant, simple, and revolutionary. In 1984, Apple introduced the Macintosh, a computer that featured a graphical user interface and a mouse, making computers much easier for ordinary people to use. Although the Macintosh was innovative, disagreements within Apple eventually led to Steve Jobs leaving the company he had helped create in 1985. Many people thought his career was over. However, Steve refused to give up. After leaving Apple, he founded a new company called Next, which focused on building advanced computers for education and business. Although Next never became a mass-market success, its software would later become the foundation of Apple's future operating systems. In 1986, Steve purchased a small computer graphics division from Lucasfilm for $10 million. He renamed the company Pixar. At the time, few people believed computer animation could compete with traditional animation. Steve invested years of patience and millions of dollars into Pixar. In 1995, Pixar released Toy Story, the world's first fully computer-animated feature film. The movie became a global success and transformed the animation industry forever. Pixar later created many blockbuster films, making Steve Jobs a billionaire. Meanwhile, Apple struggled without his leadership. Sales declined, innovation slowed, and the company faced financial difficulties. In 1997, Apple acquired Next and invited Steve Jobs to return. He simplified Apple's product lineup, eliminated unnecessary projects, and focused the company on creating a few outstanding products rather than many average ones. His first major success after returning was the colorful iMac, released in 1998. The iMac restored Apple's reputation and returned the company to profitability. Steve believed computers should work seamlessly with music, phones, and other digital devices. This vision led to the creation of the iPod in 2001, which completely transformed the music industry. Combined with the iTunes Store, Apple made buying and listening to music easier than ever before. Despite these successes, Steve had an even bigger dream. Steve believed a phone could become much more than a communication device. He imagined a product that combined a phone, a music player, and an internet communicator into one elegant device. For years, Apple engineers worked in complete secrecy on one of the company's most ambitious projects. Finally, on January 9, 2007, Steve Jobs stepped onto a stage in San Francisco and introduced the iPhone. He famously said, "Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone." The iPhone featured a large multi-touch display, intuitive software, a powerful web browser, and an entirely new way of interacting with technology using only your fingers. Many people initially doubted the product because it lacked a physical keyboard. However, after its release, the iPhone quickly became one of the most successful consumer products in history. The iPhone transformed nearly every aspect of modern life. It changed how people communicate, work, learn, shop, travel, watch videos, listen to music, and use the internet. In 2008, Apple introduced the App Store, allowing developers worldwide to create applications for the iPhone. This created an entirely new software economy and millions of jobs around the world. The success of the iPhone turned Apple into one of the most valuable companies on Earth and inspired the modern smartphone industry. Steve Jobs' leadership style was demanding. He expected excellence, challenged conventional thinking, and constantly encouraged his teams to create products that seemed impossible. While he was sometimes known for being tough, many colleagues believed his relentless pursuit of perfection led to extraordinary innovation. Behind the scenes, Steve faced a serious personal challenge. In 2004, he was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. Even while receiving treatment, he continued leading Apple and overseeing the development of groundbreaking products. In 2010, Apple introduced the iPad, creating another entirely new category of personal computing. As his health declined, Steve resigned as Apple's CEO in August 2011, recommending Tim Cook as his successor. On October 5, 2011, Steve Jobs passed away at the age of 56. His death saddened millions of people around the world, but his influence continues to shape technology today. Every modern smartphone, tablet, app ecosystem, and digital experience has been influenced by the ideas Steve Jobs championed. His journey teaches that innovation is not simply about inventing new technology. It is about deeply understanding people's needs, simplifying complexity, and refusing to accept ordinary solutions. Steve Jobs once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." His life reminds us that extraordinary success begins with curiosity, bold thinking, relentless perseverance, and the courage to pursue ideas that others consider impossible. Even years after his passing, the iPhone remains one of the most influential inventions in history, standing as a lasting symbol of Steve Jobs' vision, creativity, and determination to build products that truly changed the world.